We're live.
Is
that it?
That is not it.
Oh, okay.
But I like that even better. So whenever you are ready, sir.
We're already live. I'm going to give you like a 3 count or something and then start.
You know what? This will probably all make it in. So yeah, do whatever you want.
Hey everybody, this is Bob LeMent, and I wandered into this static generator machine here. Look at this background. I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah, what is that in the background? Those 3 old TV sets you got behind you?
Oh no, I meant your background. There's this cube that's ever expanding. It's like the universe.
That background too. Yes, it is.
I feel like we're falling very slowly, down, like into the center of the earth or something.
We could have some fun with it. I have a Halloween themed one, even though it's only August as we record this.
That's all right.
See, there you go.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Yeah. Look at that. It's a little
people listening on the podcast are like, what are these 2 idiots?
What are we in a Cheech and Chong movie or something here?
Yep. And then I got one more. This is actually what I use for the hockey show.
Oh, there you go. Dun 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 dun.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun,
so there you go. Dun. There you go, folks.
Welcome everyone. You won't believe what happened today at the arena.
Wow, you must listen to the show. That's how every show goes. Folks, we are here with Bob LeMent. This is last time we had Bob on, which is the first time I've been able to say this on this show. It was a first for the Pondcast to have a cartoon cat. Now Bob gets to hold the honor of being the first second-time guest. How about that, Bob?
Oh yeah, goodness. And still a cartoon cat, so it all worked out.
So you are the first second-time cartoon cat.
There you go. That's right. We can keep on the first blue cat, and the second blue cat, and then on the first cat who owns a vintage microphone, and the second one. So.
You're the first cat to comment on the background of the show.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, there you go. Nobody else talks about the background. I was sitting here being mesmerized by it while we were getting ready. I was like, gosh, look at that.
This is, you are literally the first one, which is crazy.
I would think that everybody would be going, look at, boy, I'm going to get dizzy looking at this thing.
Yep.
This one's not quite so bad. It's more like, this is like, Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness thing going on. All these little boxes back there are the different ways we could go with it in moment.
Yeah, when they're going into the when they're trying to get the book of Ashanti.
Yeah. It's like, woo. Any of this we could be in any one of these universes at any moment.
I think of this as one of those like breaking news transition backgrounds you'll see on like it'll be like breaking news. Now here's Martin Kilcoyne. I don't know why the sports director would be doing breaking news, but
there's a pothole on Hampton that's eating cars.
Yes, yes, exactly. And like that's the background they'd show with the breaking news. So that's how I think of it. But I think I like yours better, the multiverse of madness. Maybe it needs to be red.
Highway 40's at a standstill, and we don't know why.
It's, we make these jokes, and there was literally a sinkhole in the middle of downtown. How long was that?
A couple months or so.
Yeah, it was crazy. They had the highway shut down there. Like you had to get off the highway and get back on. I mean, it was nuts.
They were throwing old Buicks into it, and it just. There's a story. There's a thing called Mel's Hole. I don't know if you've ever heard of this or read anything about it. And it's kind of one of those fringe stories. I can't remember where. It wasn't in St. Louis. It's somewhere out west. And this guy named Mel found this hole, and he literally threw garbage into it for like years, and it never filled up. And it was this mystery hole where you could just throw anything into it and it just was gone because it was so deep and big. Anyway, you have to do a search on Mel. Well, maybe you shouldn't do a search on Mel's hole, but anyway, it's an interesting story nonetheless.
Yeah, something tells me there's something about maybe like a spoof of a Spice Girl or something.
Yeah.
If you look that up, yeah,
Tell me
don't
what
want to
you
look
want,
that
what
one
you really want.
up.
The yeah, ziggy zig but
Because that always made sense.
It's an interesting. It was on like what was the George Norrie had a radio show. The guy before him was the guy who lived in the desert. I'm blanking on his name, but it was a late night show and they talked.
Wyatt Earp.
Not Wyatt. I wish I could remember it. George Norrie, he actually, I thought he used to broadcast out of Westport here in St. Louis at one point. George Norrie. Maybe I'm wrong on that. So
you're usually right. So I'm going to trust you.
I could be wrong. I don't remember now. It's been a while.
I feel like I've never had a blue cartoon cat lie to me. So
Yeah,
I think we're good.
There you go.
Bob, I did want to mention before we get into our random topic that since you've been on, we're not doing the topic yet. Calm down. Yeah. I know you're excited.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're. I see that the hair on the back of your neck is starting to come up. So yeah. I know you're getting excited. But yeah, we since I've had you on, I've actually come on and done 2 of your shows. So last time you were on, all that we talked about was Static Radio, which is again the longest running podcast I can think of. You've been going since 1999. Right. But you've got other shows that you do too. So let's start with Mondo Frico, which I think is my favorite. But you've got a bunch of other ones going on. So tell me about them.
Oh yeah, so Mondo Frico is actually a fairly recent development, and believe it or not, we'll probably talk about Mel's hole at some point on Mondo Frico. It's kind of just the weird and wild and wacky stuff. We concentrate on paranormal, supernatural, cryptids, and UFOs, and it's all done with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek aspect to it. The funny thing is, I started it. I didn't start it. This is the funny thing. So I guessed it on somebody else's show and they said, hey, we should do this thing, and kind of pitched it or whatever. And I go, yeah, let's do that. And then they got busy and they're like, I can't do it anymore. I said, well, you care if I do it? And they're like, no, go ahead. So I've been enjoying continuing the show, but I can't take sole credit for creating the show because I didn't. And so
interesting.
So I created it with somebody else. We came up with it together and I've just kind of continued on with it. So,
that's pretty cool.
Rob, by the way, his name is Rob. So anyway, Rob, he's out there still. Actually, I talked to him still fairly regularly. We were not, we're only connected via this show, which is weird. But I still talk to him regularly. He lives on the West Coast and I live here like you in the Midwest, which I think is God's country myself. But we continue it on. You've been on. I'm trying to remember, what was our topic? Do you remember?
We did the Edwardsville UFO.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the UFO over Illinois.
Yep.
The triangle, or the it was a triangle UFO. Big UFO. Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that was back in what was that?
2001, I think.
2001. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So it was funny when you brought it up. It was a like kind of a surprise, kind of like how this show does it. You gave me the option. You said, do you want it to be a surprise, or do you kind of want to just, come up with something that we can talk about? And I said, let's do the surprise. And you said, do you remember this happening? And I was like, actually, yes. It was weird remembering because I hadn't thought about that in probably, 15, 16 years.
Oh, yeah. It was a big doings back then. I think it's still, well, they still say it's one of the most credible UFO cases that's out there because it was witnessed by 3 different police districts, I suppose you'd say, the little towns in Illinois across where it flew. So yeah, 3 different police officers from 3 different precincts or whatever they call themselves saw the UFO, reported on it, and so it's all official record. You can go, listen to them on the radio. I think there's something up in the air. It's really large. So it's all well documented, I guess you would say.
Yep.
Trained observers, as they say. Although it flew close to the Air Force Base here, and they did not chime in on it.
No, they did not. Which a lot of people speculate that is, because it was one of theirs. But yeah, they've never said anything about it wasn't a training exercise or anything. It wasn't us.
Yeah, it wasn't. They didn't. Yeah, they said no. We don't got anything on radar, even though the craft, which was the size of a football field, supposedly what was reported by everybody, it wasn't like this one guy says, yeah, it's a football field, and the other guy goes, oh, it's a kite. No, it was all fairly consistent. So yeah, they didn't even notice it apparently. But this was in the days when they couldn't notice things, where now we're in the days where they can notice things, at least some things, I suppose.
Yes.
That's a whole debate in and of itself, but that's the kind of stuff that happens on Mondo Frigo, and we kind of have fun with it. So it's not all serious. We're not saying everything is real and everything happened. We're just seeing what it is, talking about it, and having a little fun.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. And then the other one I did was Lament Tonight, which is kind of just like your typical late night TV shows, like the Jimmy Kimmels, the Jimmy Fallons, but again, hosted by cartoon cat Bob LeMent. And and you had me come on. I do a little bit of stand up, which I'd never done before.
Yeah, you did great.
Thank you. Yeah, I had some fun with it, and then it's basically like I come and sit on the couch, and but it's all virtual, and we just have a good time with it. So yeah, a bunch of different shows over there at Static Radio.
Yeah, Lament Tonight is one I've been wanting to do that for a while, and that one, not that I can take credit for the talk show format. I guess I could take credit for a cartoon cat doing a talk show.
Yes.
But I wanted to do kind of it's somewhat retro. I kind of have the graphics and things are based on the 90s. And so, if you think about not contemporary people, but if you think back to the Dennis Miller and Alan Thicke, believe it or not, which no one remembers him. He was a late night talk show host for a while. All of the new wave of talk show hosts for the 90s, and that's what that's based on, is the people who didn't really make it, right? So
right. Yep.
And people barely remember that it even happened. But it's also based on, there was a skit on SCTV in the 80s and they didn't make it to the 90s, but in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, where they had a talk show host, and he was trying to be young and hip, and so he was doing all these things like the thick of the night kind of things, and it was just funny. And so I'm like, that's what I want to do, is be kind of a spoofy version of that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I mean, I think I got the graphics somewhat right, but
yeah,
I don't the guests are the guests, so we come in, but pretty much all of the guests have been comedians of some sort. And like you said, you did stand up, so I have them all try to have them all do about a 3-minute set at the beginning of the show. They kind of do the monologue for me.
Yes.
I don't have to do the monologue. They do the monologue, and then I just do the talking, and we play some improvisational game at some point. And we have a band, and who's disgruntled band leader, and the whole works.
I do enjoy the disgruntled band leader. That was some fun repartee that you had going there.
Yeah. So yeah, Gary.
But yeah, if you're interested in any of Bob's other shows, first of all, Static Radio. So make sure that you check out that. That's staticradio.com. But if you go over to that website, also go over to the tab that says Other Shows, and that'll give you all the other stuff he does. And again, a lot of fun stuff there. Just Bob is, like me, fully ingrained in the podcast universe.
Yeah, there you go.
We're nerds.
Inextricably adhered to.
That's right. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and get into our random topic here. So, Bob, you can see our crazy gobbledygook.
Do I just touch the screen somewhere, or what do I do?
Yeah, just go ahead and click on your screen there. That's always going to work. Actually, punch it really hard. Let's see what happens. I'll wait. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and spin, and we'll get our random topic. It is, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Not Lord of the Dance. Are you sure?
I would prefer Lord of the Dance, to be quite honest. That would be a lot of fun to talk about. But so, Bob, I guess easy first question. Are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
Sure. I mean, in fandom, there's a big range. And so I'm not the fan that's read all the books and know all the characters and everything, but I'm the fan that's seen all the movies.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and I had a familiarity with the subject matter prior to the movies that came out. So a long time ago,
in a galaxy far away.
There was a cartoon for Lord of the Rings, and I watched that when I was really young, and a Hobbit cartoon and everything. So, but I also had friends who they read all the books, they knew all the characters, and then, they talk about it. And so then I would, try to engage in some of that stuff. And so, yeah, I was very aware of it from before it became kind of a thing it was after it was a thing for the hippies, but before it became a thing for the millennials, perhaps, I guess, in the 2000s. So, yeah, in between there, was aware of it. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. I mean, I don't even think that the Amazon show's horrible.
So don't hate me, Bob. I have never seen any Lord of the Rings. I've not seen a second of it.
Really?
Isn't that weird? I'm one of the few people that can probably say that. And it's not even just like
it, or
kind of. So, okay. So for me, and yes, I'm a millennial, born in 1985. So for me, I had a friend whose dad was obsessed with it, and he would, and kind of probably how like I am with Marvel or Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He quoted, Tolkien all the time, and like was always talking about Lord of the Rings. I remember being as a kid, like 7 or 8, just being like, this sounds so
like you shall not pass all the time. You shall not pass.
Yes, stuff like that, and like, just for me, it was just like, this sounds so nerdy, and like,
well, it is nerdy. Yeah,
it's very nerdy. But, again, I'm a guy who loves Star Wars, loves Marvel, Ninja Turtles, like all that stuff. Give me that all day. But for some reason, every time I heard someone talk about Lord of the Rings as a kid, I just thought, nerd. And I just never got into it. And it's funny because, I've got people in my lives now. They're like, oh, you got to check out the Amazon show. You got to watch. You've mentioned the old cartoon. I've had people tell me I should watch that.
Oh, yeah.
And I just never have. And I will say I did try, and everyone tells me this was a mistake. The one thing I did do was I did try to read The Hobbit first, because that's the prequel, right?
Right.
So I thought,
book, comparatively speaking, yes.
Right. So I thought, okay, I'll just read the prequel first, and I'll kind of do it in a timeline manner. But everybody tells me the book The Hobbit is the most boring of all the Lord of the Rings books. So, and I was bored. I got about 4 chapters in, and I was like, this is stupid. I hate this. But obviously, it's a prequel. They're doing the scene setting for what you already know is about to come. So.
Right.
Yeah, so that was
and it was apparently it was a bit of a money grab for Tolkien and his publishers to get people more interested in the other things he'd already written. It was written for a younger audience to try to pull them into the bigger scope of Lord of the Rings.
So apparently, do you think,
from what I heard?
So you haven't read the books, but I'm sure you know people that do.
Oh yeah.
Would you
Actually,
recommend
my
if I
son read all the books. He read them all like when he was like, I don't even think he was 10 years old yet. He read
well,
all
there you
the
go. Okay, so then let me ask you this, if you would recommend it. If I were, because I do think I need to at least try to watch the movies at some point, but I am someone who likes to read as well. I'm English graduate. Should I try to read the books first or should I just watch the movies?
Well, see, that's a that's a personal choice there, Jeff, you know,
Huh?
and so I'm a movie person. I love movies. You know, I've always have, and so I watch the movies because that's where my interest is. But I will tell you, oddly enough, my wife is a book person.
There you go.
And so she'll always say if we go to a movie together, the book was better. And so
That's
you
my
know,
wife
I
too.
would say if you are a reader, if you skew more towards a reader, I'd say read the books.
Okay,
So
I
that's
might
why
do
I
that.
say it's a little bit more of a personal thing. And you know, they have so many versions of the movie now, it's just ridiculous. And again, all that, you know, is just a kind of a cash grab kind of a situation, partially well from the studio and so forth, but they have so many variations of the movies that just go on for hours.
Oh
I
yeah.
think if you watch all the like extended stuff, and I mean, you literally could watch Lord of the Rings for like 2 or 3 days, not sleep or something, with all of the extras and the little documentaries and how they make Hobbit feet and all that kind of stuff.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's just, but if you just watch the movies themselves, I think it's what 9 hours. If you watch the you know extended editions or whatever, somewhere around 9 hours.
Okay. Well, that's pretty long. I would
I wouldn't say to
probably
do
take a
that.
break.
Yeah, I wouldn't say do that.
I think that's made for the fans. That's not something
Yeah.
a
Oh
newcomer
gosh,
should
yeah.
do.
But
S
I went and saw them all at the theater. At the theater, Jeffrey. We
theater.
went to the theater to see the latest Lord of the Rings, and it was all fascinating.
Okay.
No, I'd say just the theatrical releases were very good. And I mean, at the time, you know, you have to think. To me, it was great because it was a really an underdog story behind the scenes,
Right.
let alone the movie's an underdog story, right? Frodo is the underdog, right? He's not expected to make it. The hobbits are halflings or little people who can't defend themselves against orcs and humans and you know dwarfs and all that kind of stuff. And so it's fun that there was an underdog story with making the movie, let alone the movie itself. And I think that mythology has just grown and grown over the years, because Weta, which is the effects house now, was you know was made from almost nothing, right?
Right.
And they shot everything in New Zealand. And it's like it's the edge of the world
Mhm.
over there, and they did all these spectacular things. A lot of them practical at the time, and you know, it just has great stories that go along with the making of the movie that are just incredible compared to you know it's epic in its scale and scope. And you know these poor actors were down in New Zealand for years
Right. Yeah.
to make the trilogy, and they basically made the trilogy out of the gate, right? So
Yep.
the idea was to make it all at once, and it was just a massive undertaking to the point where you know oh now I'm a blank on the director's name. Help me out here, Jeff.
Oh boy. I should know this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
don't
it
want to
up.
look it up because I know it, but I can't think of it.
Okay, I got it. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me what
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. So Peter Jackson just about died because he had so much pressure and everything. I think he did have heart trouble. You know, and so it's that kind of insurmountable production compared with an insurmountable task of Frodo having to take this ring to Mount Doom in the fantasy world that parallels, right? And everybody loves that kind of stuff.
So I think I have to ask the question because I believe was in Clerks 2, they said it. But I've heard other people say this too. Why did they not just jump on the flying dinosaur at the
The
start?
Eagles, yeah,
Yeah, or
good
whatever it was.
question.
Do
Well,
you know?
apparently
I
nobody
mean,
thought of it. Have you ever have you ever had that happen to you where you're like, you go through these arduous things and you're like, wait a minute, why didn't we just take the car?
so I wonder if this could be a new lyric in the Ironic song by Alanis Morissette. Remember when she says,
Right. Isn't it ironic?
it's a free ride when you've already paid?
Right.
So yeah, maybe this is we
Yeah.
went on a journey when we could have just jumped on the Eagle.
Right. Could have just flew the Eagle and just dropped it from, a couple thousand feet. But the problem is, that's like one of those things. I think this is like maybe if it's not a meme, it'll become one. All these historic movies, if they had a cell phone, if they had a
Yes.
cell phone, everything gets, I could just put a text, or whatever. And so it just kind of clobbers every plot line in every old movie at this point. If they had a cell. So that's a good question. But yeah, I don't know why
I
Gandalf didn't go, hey, why don't we just fly on these eagles? Other than that, he is just a horrible, horrible wizard. He's just
Well, what
terrible.
everybody always tells me is it's because it's about the journey. And I'm
Right.
like, that is a cop out answer. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you're right. Well, maybe they weren't available. I mean, maybe they were busy. And so they're like,
Yeah, they had an Eagles labor dispute.
right. They're like, oh, these guys, they want us to fly. I'm not flying to Mount Doom. Screw you.
Now we're going on strike.
Maybe they don't
Nope.
fly to Mount Doom. Maybe it's like off limits. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe they had these, big, the steel piercing arrows that they shot into a dragon in the Hobbit movies. And maybe they had those for the eagles, so.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, there you
But
go.
yeah, I think, yeah, you just have to take it for what it is. Cause if you look at all the plot holes in all the movies, then it kind of ruins the movie, right? So
Yep.
why did
Agreed.
in Jaws, why did Quint smash the radio? Because if he didn't, you wouldn't have much of a movie. They would have just called in, Coast Guard, Coast Guard, giant
Yeah,
shark
right.
is pulling us under.
Yep.
So you lose the last half of the movie if he doesn't smash the radio. And so
That's true.
you have to all movies take their opportunities. Unfortunately, they should have explained it away a little bit better. Like maybe they all got the croup or something. They couldn't fly that for a couple of years. I don't know. Whatever happens to birds, they got the bird flu. And or maybe, yeah, or easily enough. I mean, you think about they had the ints, which were the trees, and the trees wouldn't get involved until all the trees were dying, right? So it's like politics. They could have had a political aspect where the Eagles are like,
That's
no,
completely
we're
possible.
not involved in that. We're not. Come
Somebody
on.
should write Lord of the Rings from the Eagles' perspective.
Well, it would be like we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
That's the whole
You
movie
see
right
those,
there.
I wonder if those idiots realize they could just ask us to fly them
Yeah.
over. They're not. Let's just hang
I'm
out
not
and
going
drink
to
some iced tea.
volunteer. That's what it'd be like.
Yeah. I want to be asked. I'm not just going to
Remember,
volunteer it.
we became everybody's taxi service for a while. We had to shut that down. We're not doing it again.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That
There you
becomes
go.
the whole line of things. Or how did Schmiegel, he lived forever with the ring. He wasn't supposed to live that long, and why didn't they just keep the ring and live forever for a while? I mean, sure, they
Bob,
go mad, but
I've got it, Bob. If you did a Lord of the Rings from the Eagles' perspective, you could call it Lord of the Wings.
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
There it is.
Well, maybe that's why
idea.
they opted out. They're like, can we change the title? Because we're going to save the world here.
That's really breaking the fourth wall there for those Eagles.
Yeah. And they're like, no, we're not going to change the title. Well, screw you.
Yep. We're going
just
home.
Lost the Union right now. Boom. We're bringing down the hammer. No Eagles.
So, Bob, you're a funny fella who likes funny things. Have you ever watched? Did you ever see the South Park episode they did of Lord of the Rings?
Yes, but it's been quite a while ago. I did,
It's
yeah.
it's a pretty good episode. I think that one actually won like some major awards and stuff
Major awards.
for what it
Yeah.
did. Yeah. I mean, it's not as prestigious as Lament Tonight, but
Yeah,
it's up there.
we're not, they're not winning all the Razzies that we're getting, but
Right,
yes, right.
exactly. No, it's a very good episode for those who haven't seen it. Yeah, the boys they watch Lord of the Rings. They're all in their Lord of the Rings get ups, and
Yeah,
they rented, which that again dating ourselves here.
right.
They rented the video, and so Randy, which is Stan's father, says, "Hey boys, I've got a quest for you. Bring this rented movie over to the Stotch's house, and you will be greatly rewarded." And so
Mhm.
they leave. They've got the videotape, and then Randy looks at his wife, and he's like, "Hey, I rented a porno. Let's watch it while the kids are out." And so they
Right.
go to turn it on, and it's, 100 million years ago. And like, you just hear like, whatever the start of Lord of the Rings is.
Right.
And he's
For
like,
for
"Oh, the
uh-oh.
production value on this porno is great." And then they keep watching and they're like, "Oh my God, the kids have the porno." And then hilarity ensues. Very funny episode.
Well, now that happens. So this you didn't know this. This is why it's completely random. I worked at a video store for several years when I was younger, and that happened all the time.
Oh, I bet.
Where
Did you go
the
to the barnyard doors at your
boxes
store?
got switched.
Yeah.
Because I used to joke and actually have a show on Static called this is called Disney and a Porno. And because on the weekends, people would come in and they would rent a Disney movie for the kids and a porno for the parents.
Of
And then they
course.
would have inevitably, because you didn't put them in the sleeve that they came in. They just usually had clear boxes or whatever.
Yep.
But they had labels on the outside, and they would inevitably put the porno in the Disney box and the Disney in the porno box. And so one of the things that you had to do while you were working there was to be very conscious of them being in the right boxes, because then it happened, you would rent it out as a Disney and it would be a porno.
God, I can only imagine that type of phone call.
God.
No,
it happened. It happened. And so Disney and a porno. It's irrelevant to most people now, but I used to talk about that a lot because I'm like, yeah, it's the weekend. Everybody's coming in to get Disney and a porno. But that was, interestingly enough, it's crazy. You talk about getting into random areas here. It's crazy to think when I say that Disney and a porno, some people might find that somewhat shocking. Yet at the time when this was happening, compared to now, right? And as far as availability and everything, it is downright Pollyanna. If you think about it, right? At any moment of the day, at any time, at any device that you own, you can watch pornography. But back then, you had to go somewhere and see an idiot like me in order to get porno.
Yeah, I remember my 18th birthday. So I was the first of all my friends to turn 18. And so they were like, "Dude, you got to go up to the porno shop and buy porn for us." And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And so literally I'm
Let's
in
take
there
the
and
Eagles.
yeah, right. Take the Eagles to the porn shop. And so I'm like looking through, I'm like, I don't know what my friends want. This is so weird. Like, I didn't realize how weird it was till I was already like standing in the adult film store. And I'm like, I don't know what they want. And so, and this was, right when cell phones started getting big, but like I didn't have mine. And, I left it in the car, and I remember thinking, man, I could have called them and asked what they want. And they're all standing outside the window. So I literally just go up and I start holding the different videos up to the window. And I'm like, "You want this one? You want this one?" And I did it like 8 or 9 times. And finally the guy at the store goes, "Hey, man, I can't let you do that. You got to stop doing that." And I'm like, "That's probably a good call. You're right. I'm sorry." Yeah.
Well, the weird thing in the video store is the one that I worked at had the saloon doors. And so you'd have the whole video store, which was regular, Disney movies and regular movies and everything. And then there's these little saloon doors, right? The little Western doors, and you go through there, and that's where all the pornos were. And they were like the new movies were right up to the door,
Yep.
and it was perfectly. I loved it because you could watch people. We used to watch people from the counter as they kind of looked at all the new movies to get closer to the swinging cowboy doors. And then when they get over there, they like pick stuff up and look at, and then they just kind of go whoop, and then they're right into the porno section. It was funny because they didn't want people to see them go in there, but you could tell they were working their way around the store just to get in there, but they didn't want to just run right in there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yeah. You got to like kind of peruse a
right,
little.
you gotta look like you want other things first.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire. That sounds pretty good. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch a Beer Fest. I don't know. Oh, what's back here?
Oh wait, what's this door?
Yeah. This must be where the cowboy movies are.
Right, that's right. It's all cowboy movies. But it was much more mainstream, I guess. It was just kind of interesting. Thinking back on it, it's very interesting. Because it was, I mean, there was a stigma to it, but it wasn't so much of a stigma that they didn't have it. Now, at the end of the video store era, they got rid of it and it was totally separated, right? So only at the movie, Blockbuster never had pornos, but all of your mom and pop stores, which I worked at, had them. And so then it went the other way, and then they became, and then the internet happened, and everything was fair game. But yeah, it was interesting how that goes. But that's maybe too serious a topic for you here today. But you
want to hear a bad parenting story?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you have your own, but I've got a couple myself. So this was one that I'm not proud of today. So I've got a device. I've had it now for about 6 or 7 years that kind of picks up like random streaming channels. And so there's like a couple like 24/7 channels on there. So it'll be like 24/7 Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, stuff like that. And so it's every now and then I'll like turn it on and I'm like, oh, there's some cool stuff on here. For a while there was like a 24/7 Friends and like stuff like that. And so I'm scrolling through one day and my son's just, sitting there playing with something. He was probably about 7 or 8 at the time. And my wife's in the other room and I'm scrolling through and there's a channel, or there's a whole like section of channels that's new, and it's just called XXX.
Right.
And so I'm like, what? I was like, no, I don't get porn on this thing. And so I scrolled down and then I went to the XXX category and there was like 15 different channels. And so I'm like, let's just turn one on.
No, there you go.
Just to see if this is actually
real?
Working. Yeah. I turn it on, and obviously there is something awful on the screen. And of course, right when this happens, my wife walks right into the room. And so she looks over, sees that I've got porn on the TV. My son's sitting there watching it with me. And she's like,
what are you doing?
In the hell are you doing? I go, I swear to God, I've had this on for 3 seconds. And she's like, why is it still on my TV? And I'm like, great question. Let me turn this off. And I'm like, why did I think?
Where are those eagles?
Exactly. Yeah, I need that eagle to fly me out of here. Want to get away?
These people never show up in the right time. These eagles.
Right. And yeah. So I just thought, I'm like, why didn't I not just kind of make a mental note and say, if you really
come
want
back
to see
later,
if you have it come back later. No, I'm just going to turn it on with my 8-year-old child sitting right next to me.
These 3 X's must mean something else.
What are they trying to hide? I have to find out.
But that's another weird aspect of this whole, transition from physical analog style media to digital media is what I don't know. I've been puzzled. I'm like, why in the world do they have all these constantly streaming channels? You can literally go and watch anything just about that you want on demand. Why do they have all these streaming channels everywhere? And there's become more of them, right? Amazon has a whole plethora, if you get Prime, of streaming channels, and Netflix does, and all of the major, providers of streaming entertainment nowadays all have these kind of live watch. I'm like, we're past it. That was television.
Yep.
That was broadcast. Why are we rolling back to this?
It's crazy. I don't know. I'm a Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime guy. Like I just watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And like I still see people that are, my mom, she's all about, like, she did the streaming thing and she's like, I just prefer to be able to flip through the channels. And I'm like, why? That was awful.
Anything you want.
Yeah. Literally anything's at your fingertips that you would possibly want to watch.
Yeah. Anything. It's like, why do you, I guess some people just like that kind of noise in the background kind of thing. But even on Netflix, you can just start up a series and it'll just play one after the other for a good long time before it asks you if you're still there.
Yep, exactly.
So, it's kind of the same as streaming if you want that. But apparently these things are profitable and people are like, the Pluto TV is one of the free ones that has just scads of those kind of streaming channels, and it's just like, I'm always marvel at, like, why?
Yeah, I agree.
Why?
What was that first one? It was called like Slink or something.
Sling.
Yeah, Sling.
It's still around.
An actual word.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. I remember when it first got big and it was like $5 a month and you got like, 20 different channels on there. And one of them was the Fox Sports Midwest at the time, which is what carried the Cardinals. And I thought, I'm going to get that just for the, and I'll admit that's the only reason I see why people might want to watch or have cable or streaming channels is for live sports.
But they're all on streamers now.
They're on streaming now. Yeah. But I remember when Sling first came out thinking that was so cool. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. I could literally watch anything I want at any time with all my other services. I don't need this.
Right. It's crazy. I'm like, we need to go forward in our advancements. This is a big step back, but apparently, it's paying the bills somewhere, probably because it's so easy to set up and run because it's all software, but so you don't have too many people involved, right, to pay. And
that's right.
It just costs your bandwidth. It doesn't cost the, you're not broadcasting or anything. You have satellite trucks everywhere. But I'm always just like wondering why. We should go on to the next thing, whatever that is. We already have all this on demand. What's the next? Well, actually, the next thing, and it's on its way here, if you want to get into future prestidigitation here, Ponder, is AI is going to make what you want.
Yes, and we're already kind of seeing that.
We are.
Like I saw something today that said AI has created the beginning, like how Doom defeats the X-Men in the upcoming Doomsday movie. And I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I want to see it actually happen in the movie. But somebody probably just went to a generator and said, here's the clip from, the movie itself. Show me how this is going to happen. And it generated something really cool.
Yeah. But so you're not even going, there's not going to be, you're not going to have to wait for somebody else. Right. It's going to be, I want to see where Dr. Doom wins, or I want to see, something as simple as that. And then it will generate everything out on a storyline that you prefer.
Yep.
I want to see Lord of the Rings where they get on the eagles.
Yes.
It's like a 2-minute movie.
It'll be a 2-minute movie instead of a 9-hour marathon.
Frodo walks out of this hobbit hole. There's Gandalf. He's like, you have to take the ring. And he's like, I can't whistle. Here comes an eagle. Boop. He flies over Mount Doom, drops it in, goes home. By dinner time, he's eating, he's eating his first dinner, then his second dinner, whatever.
He's eating eagle stew. After he drops him off, he cooks the eagle.
Like a 2-minute movie. This was great. And Gandalf's hanging out, shooting off fireworks. Everybody's happy.
There you go. Yes, I'm sure fireworks were always a big thing in Lord of the Rings.
Well, there's a whole thing with Merry and Pippin and the fireworks in the movie. So
there you go.
So that's where we're headed, and I don't know why we're sliding back to have a 24-hour 24/7 Golden Girls channel. I don't
Right.
understand. But
Yeah, I mean, you know what's next is it's going to be these little boxes that talk at you, and it's going to be called a radio.
Hey, everybody, it's Jeff Pounder here. We're down here on the ice.
all right.
Wow,
Yeah,
you are nailing my hockey show. It's crazy.
yeah, it'll be everything will sound worse and worse.
Well, don't forget, people do want to have streaming channels because one day it's going to be late night with Bob LeMent. So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well,
you never know.
I haven't been fortunate enough to be pulled into the Netflix pool, but yeah, they do have podcasts on Netflix, and Amazon has them as well. They're pulling, I would hazard to say the more funded ones onto the services.
Yep.
And again, talking about things that's always, I think it's great because podcasting has gone, certainly in my time, from something that was super geeky like Lord of the Rings into something that's incredibly mainstream to the point where, celebrities and companies all want to HBO has a freaking podcast for every show they make.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's very mainstream. And that's not, it's not been that long, 22 years from the official coining of the word podcast to being super mainstream. And it's been mainstream now for a good 5 or 7 years.
At least, yeah.
So, not even 20 years, it went from nothing to mainstream. So that is incredibly interesting because typically that takes longer, right? I don't think, other media made a trajectory like that. So it's interesting how those things go. But yeah, I don't know. But I do kind of rue the fact that there's so much money in some of these shows, and it's like, oh guys, why didn't you hand some money down here a little bit? You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, there's an advertisement. My wife watches a lot of Hulu, and there's been this constant advertisement from one of the females from Vanderpump Rules, I guess. I don't watch that show. I know nothing about it, but like she's on there, and it's like her show in like, I don't know. I'm watching it and I'm like, who even is this person? And what is this show even about? Right. And so my wife looked it up and she said her show is about her lifestyle and how she runs her podcast. And I'm like, so there's a show about a podcast.
About a podcast.
Like, it's not even a podcast. It's a show about a podcast. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, and thinking about when I started, which, granted, you started years before me. I started podcasting in 2011. And like, I tell him, if you would have told me in 2011, Jeff, there's a show that they're going to have that it's about a woman who runs a podcast, I would laugh in your face and I'd be like, that'll be bankrupt in 5 minutes.
Obviously, who knows though? That's the question is I guess it's making money. They wouldn't continue if it wasn't, my guess is, but sometimes they put a lot of money into stuff that doesn't make it. I mean, there's history is littered with media that was supposed to be big that didn't get big. And so you never know. But yeah, I guess the sad part for me is that big media, whatever that is at this point in time, is taking over what was basically a kind of a grassroots, individualistic movement, which was podcasting, right? It was a bunch of nerds, who had an interest in making something and putting it out there. And so, yeah, that's what I don't, everybody can do whatever they want, but that's the part that always bothers us. Like, well, now they're kind of taking it over. And because they can do that, they have the war chest to come in and wipe out the competition. They're the Walmarts of the grocery world. If you read any stories about Walmart, they come in and basically sell things at a loss to get rid of all the grocery stores, and then they jack up prices, and then they make their money back. Amazon does the same thing. That's the current business technique on a lot of this. And then they come in, and only a few can survive if they have, this really loyal audience. And then eventually they kind of, in order to keep the machine going, they submit to the overlords of big media at some point to get the cash to keep improving and doing more things. So, it's just one of those kind of situations. And to tie it into Lord of the Rings, they were books that were made by a academic for somewhat academic purposes initially, and then have gotten popular at various times with certain sets of people, and then have become, now they're, they make billions of dollars. So
yep,
that's what the Amazon show is about. That's what all the movies are about, and all the different variations of the movies. And I mean, you can love it just like Star Wars, right? I love Star Wars too. And, but it's an economic engine at this point, as far as fandom and pop, pop culture and so forth goes. Yeah. Look at the X-Wing fighter.
Always got my X-Wing ready. So
yeah. Is that, do the wings open up on it? There you go.
Yep.
Now, do you have a Y fighter?
I think I do somewhere.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
The TIE fighter, the X-Wing, and the Y fighter. But yeah, so it becomes this whole thing, right? So anyway, I think that answers your question on why they didn't take the Eagles.
There you go.
If they took the Eagles, no mega billion-dollar juggernaut.
Maybe all the Eagles were just hanging out in Hotel California.
They paid them off to not, it's kind of like, protection money or whatever. They paid them off to not be available.
There you go.
Don't be available. We need Frodo to suffer.
I like it. I like it.
Hobbits.
Yes. Suffering is what builds character, right?
That's
so
right.
we need
that's
to
going to
see
make
them
us
suffer.
$1 billion. If Frodo just gets on your guys' back and takes it, then
What's the
we're going to
point?
go underwater. This way, he's got to trudge through everything, right? So
that's right.
Let's keep
Bob
going.
Bob, this is always fun talking with you. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm glad you have seen Lord of the Rings. Otherwise, this would have been a very short conversation because I had nothing to add except, hey, there was a South Park episode this one time.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Wasn't Cartman, wasn't he Schmeagol? I'm blanking on the...
He was wearing like a pointy hat and like a red robe.
Oh, okay. Well, no, he was. I thought he played Schmeagol, and I guess not. Maybe not.
I honestly don't know. Which one's Schmeagol? Is that Precious?
My Precious.
Okay, that was Butters. I remember that because so yeah, they end up so he ends up seeing a part of the porno, and they take it from him, and they have to go get it back. So they go to take it back to Stan's parents, and Butters freaks out because he's in love with what he saw on this porno.
Gollum.
And so he's like, Gollum, that's it. Yeah, and he's like, give me back my precious.
My precious.
Yeah. Very good.
Butters.
Butters. Yep. It's Butters. Anyway, well, sir, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure. And folks, make sure you check out Static Radio and check out that other shows tab. You got my face on there twice, unfortunately, but lots of other really good people.
There you go. Well, yeah, I have a cartoon version of you on that show too. So.
You do, and you nailed it. Perfect. The Pondcast, conversations that go nowhere. Produced by Jeff Ponder. Executive produced by Jeff Ponder. Music by Loud C. Smith. Talent booking by Jeff Ponder. Engineering and mixing by Jeff Ponder. A special thanks goes out to your mother. Remember to rate and review the Pondcast, Conversations That Go Nowhere, just because you're a good person. If you're a bad person, you can get some heaven points by rating and reviewing. It's a win-win. Follow the Pondcast on all social media channels with the profile handle @PondcastConvos. Thanks for listening.